This is Ace at the Plate on WCWPSports.org.
So it's not just me and Doug today. It's actually, we got a special guest, Joe Riley, good friend of mine, and is on the baseball team at CW Post or LIU Post. Reliever, best pitcher ever. But we're here to just do the show, baby. I'm just glad we could have Joe here today.
Yes, welcome to the stadium, buddy.
Welcome,
Glad to be here.
Welcome.
Glad to be here.
And so, listen, we're going to start off with the qualifying offer because that's the big news today, because today's the deadline. Today is the deadline for the qualifying offer. And unsurprisingly, Cespedes declined. I mean, these are just
shocker
it
of the
shouldn't even
century.
be Moon. Again, Jose Bautista. I mean, I don't understand why these things are like, oh, this is huge news. You won't believe it, but whatever. But there is one guy that everyone is watching, and that's Neil Walker, because he's gonna be he might be a second baseman for another team next year. He might be the Mets second baseman. He has not said a freaking word, and he's got an hour to go. And we'll have you live updates on Twitter.
He'll sign at 4:59. He'll keep it exciting.
He'll sign. But what do you guys think on Neil Walker? Do you think he's going to accept it or reject it?
I don't know. As our guest, I'm going to let Joe take the first.
What's your instinct, Joe?
It's honestly, it's 50-50. I mean, you can see both sides of it. You know, he's a guy who had a pretty good year last year before his back injury. So he might test free agency and get a deal from someone, but at the same time, $17.2 million a year. I mean, where do I sign?
Yeah,
That'd be great.
exactly.
You know, but who knows?
Listen,
Who knows?
A big factor to that is even though we had such a great year, it only really picked up at the end, but that's not even the part. It's just that it ended with a back injury.
Right.
And that is like numero uno, one of the worst
It's not a
things.
finger injury.
Yeah, this
It's not a
isn't
wrist
a
injury.
regular injury. This is a back injury. We're talking David Wright injury.
No, we're talking about half the
Prince
Mets
Fielder.
that have
Yeah,
gotten
we're
this,
talking
basically.
about-
Thank
yeah.
you, Ray Ramirez. Thank you for out
So,
there.
you know, this could be a problem, which is why I think he's going to accept it. And do you think would it now? Let's say he doesn't accept it. Is it wise for like the 3-year deal that he wants? I don't think so. But what do you guys think? Because he's talking like 3 years.
I mean, his market value for right now
What
is just
is it?
cratered. I mean,
What-
if you're going for $17.2 million and you can go back onto the market next year, then yeah, the possibilities there are very strong. They could possibly get a 4 to even 5-year with like maybe a 5th-year team option. But right now, when you have a back injury like this and you're playing second base at a position that requires a lot of side-to-side movement and you could possibly get into some collisions, it's a huge risk. But if you're going for $17.2 million, it makes all the sense in the world for the Mets to do this because, one, it drives down his market value for them if they want to retain him. Then it means that it's a lot cheaper for them at $17.2 million. It's a little steep, but it means that they're not paying beyond this year, actually. And if he decides to go somewhere else, then you know what? The Mets, they get that draft pick compensation, which Sandy Allison's a big, big guy.
And you know what, though?
And it makes it that much more likely that they'll sign Cespedes as
Yeah.
well.
Well, that's one thing. You know, it's okay to sort of run like cheap money type team as long as you spend the money wisely. And if you let him go if he really wants that 3-year deal with the back injury, I feel like you got guys that could step up and do some stuff like TJ Rivera, number one, and he shouldn't be there every day, but he's a guy.
He's going to be very valuable for them next year.
You already got Flores, who's like an all over the place, and you got Reyes, and you need Reyes in the lineup every day because this lineup doesn't have any speed, so you need him in the lineup every day. So I just say I don't even think it's the end of the world if the Mets don't get Walker. You guys in that sentiment, or am I the only one in that boat?
I mean, I enjoyed watching him play last year. But it wouldn't be like Cespedes
I don't
walking
think it
away.
would be the end of the world. Now, I'm not saying I don't want him. It'd be great to have more competition. Means more effort for the job because he's not just a lock at second base. There's some guys that gave him a little bit of a ruffle. But I will say this: that if we don't have him, it's not the end of the world. And listen, I mean, basically, yeah, he's not like Cespedes. Basically, how Joe put it. And, Cespedes, obviously, he declined his offer. And I think the only other one that was out on the jury was Hellickson. But he accepted
Jeremy
it.
Hellickson, he accepted it, actually, which is a very
with
rare thing these days. But as Joe was saying, when you get $17.2 million in your face.
In a year, where do I sign, right?
Well, that's the thing now. It used to be a thing of the past, but starting last year, we had the first person ever accepted, Colby Rasmus with the Astros. So is it time to change this thing? Is it time to get rid of this? Because we have the contract negotiation talks You guys think that should the price just be at a fixed rate, or should it keep rising? What do you think?
Well,
about that
currently
type of
the
stuff?
system operates in that's the top 125 players' average salaries averaged
Okay.
out, and that's what they'll
Okay,
offer.
I personally didn't know how.
No, it's fine.
It
I'm
just seemed
not-
like it
not-
went up
No one
every
knows.
year.
Trust me, I didn't know this until about like a month ago. And I saw it last year. I'm like, qualifying offer. That makes sense for some reason. But yeah, it's a compensation for teams losing out on a potential player. I feel like the MLB Players Association will probably get rid of it because, as I said before, it really diminishes and depletes the values of these players and what they can possibly get.
And it leaves
like an
people
Ian
on
Desmond,
side.
for instance, who rejected it, and he ended up having to settle for $8 million for
Well,
1 year.
then
and
again,
one,
he had a
Right.
terrible year. But to his
But this
credit, I don't think he's going to land the $107 million that he declined from Washington, but he'll land a contract multiple
But
years.
still, that's where this qualifying offer really hinders these players' production, like for what they want to be able to get and for what teams can be able to borrow with them. Because a manager such as Sandy Alderson will always keep the draft prospects in the back of his mind. And these guys are losing tens of millions of dollars over the fact of this qualifying offer. But as I see it now, if it keeps going at the rate of annual average value per contracts of that top 125, it's going to keep rising through the roof. I mean, if we have Greinke who can make $30 million at the top, instantly just plump. Like, what was it last year? $15.8 million?
The qualifying
Yeah, the
offer,
qual-
Here's the thing,
Yeah.
though. It used to be like a thing where you would just would like give the guy the qualifying offer, knowing he would reject it, so you felt
Right.
safe.
Yeah, you're just getting that draft
'cause
pick. And then you get
now
the draft, right.
It's
Yeah.
almost as if now it's like he didn't perform well enough for the qualifying offer, so now we're going to miss out on the draft pick because he would accept it, and we don't want him back. And that's sort of how a lot of teams lose out. And not only that, and dare I say it, Yoenis Cespedes might have been actually a victim for the qualifying offer. I mean, there were teams that didn't want to give him 5 years for some strange reason, I guess. They say he's money motivated or whatever, but they would not. Obviously, he was
last
not the
year
Mets.
he if you're traded actually before the deadline during
Oh.
midseason, then you can't you can't get a
forgot about
qualifying
that.
offer at all. That's why Carlos Beltran couldn't get a qualifying offer from the Rangers, and that's why you're starting to hear him like his market's starting to explode even more. Even though he's 40 years old, he still hit
Well, he
289
had a-
and
he had
about
a
like 30
great
home runs.
year.
Right.
He might be a future Hall of Famer. I don't know if it would be with the
think he
Mets.
is.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be with the Mets.
Who would
though.
he go in with?
Yeah, what the Royals?
Yeah, the
like
Astros?
the Astros for a half season.
Cardinals?
Like, yeah.
Maybe the
Giants?
Mets, but I just don't think him and the Mets were really a thing. But
No, but you know what? It makes most sense.
yeah.
He was the greatest center fielder in their history. You know?
I don't know. Didn't it end badly? Didn't our
No,
relationship
it was just that
end
no one,
badly?
everyone undervalued the crap out of
Met
him.
fans didn't appreciate
Yeah,
him.
never
I
That's
loved
the thing.
Beltran.
Yeah. He was the grace of the game. The guy played smart in the base paths. I'm pretty
mean,
sure he's in
me
the
and
top
you
3
mentioned
all
it.
time
Absolutely.
for stolen base percentage.
Me and you mentioned it on the show so many times. Every time you mention his name, you think caught looking.
Yeah.
you
Of
know,
course.
St. Louis, caught looking.
I think a lot of people
But I
forget.
appreciate him. I appreciated his play. I loved watching him. He was a great player. He played hard for the Mets. Not like he didn't play hard or something. We'll see. I mean,
think-
that's a debate for another time. But
I
I'm
think a
just
lot
saying.
of people forget the at bat before Beltran. It's Cliff Floyd. He got 3 fastballs right up the middle that he
Wow,
looked at,
That is so true. Actually, I
listen.
didn't.
and he'll be the first one to admit to it too.
Yeah, I mean, listen. That what the past is the past. You know,
Nothing against Cliff Floyd.
Well,
Yeah,
nothing
I loved
against
Cliff Floyd. I loved Cliff Floyd.
Listen,
Yeah.
but the thing is, with the qualifying offer, we'll see, and we'll obviously, guys, keep on that Twitter watch because we'll know.
Yeah.
Because we'll know. Because I'm thinking Jose Reyes at second base on opening day. That's what I'm personally
We'll
thinking.
see.
The only reason why is because
'Cause,
he's hitting. Well, he hit, right? I mean, obviously, a new year, he might not do as well. But he hit, and he has speed, and the Mets don't have speed, and that's a huge problem.
Unless they somehow get a center fielder that they can pull in that can provide a little bit of a boost.
Well,
That's your boy Dexter Fowler that
Dexter
you've been
Fowler.
dreaming about.
No, I'm not dreaming about him that much.
Not,
He's-
not anymore.
he's-
Not these days
No,
anymore.
well, here's the thing. I only wanted Dexter Fowler if Cespedes is gone.
everything revolves around Cespedes.
That's a-
yeah, that's
That's the-
everything's halted
yeah,
to the grind
yeah,
until that.
exactly.
Kudos to Sandy because he's been speaking out pretty loudly about the. I mean, wasn't it like last year? Didn't you feel like Sandy was so nonchalant about Cespedes? We'll see
whatever
where
happens,
he
happens.
ends up.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see where he ends up.
That's posturing. That's posturing
But
all the way.
No, but this year he's like
He's
we're
not
getting,
messing around.
He's like
Yeah.
we're getting it done before winter or
Yep.
or at the meetings. He's getting it. He wants it done. Before he was like, we'll see where he ends up.
And if they
I
don't sign him,
want
they'll sign
I don't
someone.
Maybe want him.
They're
This year,
serious.
I got to applaud him. And Joe brought up an interesting point while we were just talking, just like a little bit ago. But do you think it's more of the Wilpons wanting Cespedes or Sandy wanting Cespedes? Because Cespedes is not a Sandy guy. Or do you think it's a both thing? Do you think the Wilpons are cornered and it's like this is like a David Wright situation where, man, this guy's like a real face? Or is it just like Sandy's like, this is not my sort of guy? And the Wilpons were like, okay, but now, I don't know, they've doubled down. They want him. What do you think about that? Or is it just stupid?
I mean, I think Sandy's completely changed his tune because it used to be strictly on-base percentage type of guys that would be fitting into niche. Exactly. And then Justin Turner goes down like the way of the rabbit hole. And then next thing we know, we've got a whole entire power boost where it's like, oh, wait, we forgot to get that thing speed. We need guys actually that can move around the base.
There's no speed in this team. I remember. I'm never going to forget. Like, okay, I was on the fence about getting Reyes back. I was actually on the I was like, okay, don't get him back. He's washed up. Look at his numbers, whatever. He turns out he performed. And the minute he started stealing some bases and producing runs just by himself, I saw it. It's almost like I forgot. I forgot how important speed was until I actually saw it again. Yep. And I go, holy crap, I haven't seen this all year.
Yeah, it's a bigger threat to the mind than Cespedes at plate.
I didn't see that all of last year on that championship team. I didn't see any speed. So when I saw it, I go, wow, that guy made a difference. Because, you know, if we didn't sign Reyes, that run wasn't getting home, and we weren't winning that game.
But it's also the stress that it puts upon a pitcher's mind. Like, obviously, you know that Yoenis Cespedes is coming up, but at least you can pitch around him somehow. But if you have Jose Reyes on the base paths, you're constantly checking over your shoulder to see what the guy's doing. You can't be focusing on the player right in front of you.
And then maybe you make a mistake to Cespedes.
Exactly. And then, like, you know what? You're not really fully engaged into it. You're not, and you're pitching out of the stretch, completely letting up bombs. But Yoenis, I really think that in the past it was like we're focused on defense. But if we get a quality center fielder, then I feel like everything will turn out right. Because Cespedes, his defensive WAR went down so much this year. I think it was like in the -2s, actually. But that's because he had a bum quad, and you had to force him to play center field, which is not his natural position.
Yeah. Well, first of all, he requested it. He has always wanted to be one, but now he likes just left field, which is probably because of his quad, but also because
of his cannon of an arm.
Down. But here's the thing, and here's something that I think is really important. With Cespedes, I just feel like he just made everyone better, even if there were times when Cespedes was slumping, and then other guys in the lineup like Walker and Cabrera just picked it up. It's because it's not like Dan Cox, the producer, came in here before. We were talking. He's like, baseball is all mental, right? And it's true. I mean, baseball is such a mental sport, and even if Cespedes is slumping, it's that presence. It's that, oh crap, Cespedes is coming up. That pitcher knows it.
I'll never forget when Cespedes and Cabrera came off the DL. You remember when they both came off the DL in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That changed it.
Their offense was invisible, and then all of a sudden they come back and they went on that rampage for the last month, and I mean, you can say obviously they did help out a lot, but I think just the mentality of the whole lineup changed so that these guys are in the lineup,
I just want to mention, and we're going to talk about this more later in the show, but I do want to mention that I'm confident the Mets are going to sign Cespedes, believe it or not. Last week I wasn't, but Sandy is really sort of
last year I certainly wasn't.
Yeah, last year I wasn't. But this year it's sort of turned up. I feel like Sandy's on. And by the way, remember, our backup plan last year was Alejandro Diaz.
So, oh my God!
Just to bring that back there.
Your DFA Diaz is free.
DFA Diaz. It was a hashtag on this show. I made it. Hashtag DFA Diaz. That was the thing, and he ended up making it the whole year. Wow, that guy deserves a medal. That guy deserves a medal for making it the whole year. Because I'll tell you that John Mayberry Jr. wishes he made it the whole year.
I've never seen a guy argue with so many umpires in my life. He argues a ball right up the middle.
Daniel Murphy always has a word to say.
Murphy will chirp a little bit, but honestly, he just turn around,
right up the middle. He's arguing with the guy.
Well, Murphy will just be like, "Are you sure that was outside?" And that's it. Like he'll be like a little.
Yeah, because he just wants to adjust to know what his strike zone's looking like. He's just like, "Okay, that's good. You're going a little high today."
I'm a little behind. Did they announce the MVP yet?
No, but I know the finalist is Daniel Murphy,
Chris
Bryant, and Corey Seager, actually.
It's going to be Chris Bryant.
He's going to win Rookie of the Year, Seager.
Yeah, Seager's going to. He's got to win Rookie of the Year.
Chris Bryant, MVP. They just threw Murphy in there because they hate the Mets. He's great, but he's not MVP. Let's get real. Okay?
Dude, he was hitting like 330, like 340, which is like.
But there's just no. I mean, I'd take Bryant over Murphy any day if I
on
my
course,
team.
Of course.
I mean,
how about everybody's overlooking Anthony Rizzo?
Yeah, Rizzo really got the shift.
Their numbers are not identical, but pretty close.
I mean, I listen, that Cubs team,
So-
I hate the Cubs. The only reason why I have beef against them is that the media just basically gets on their knees, as our president-elect said, And listen, I don't want to talk about the election. Trump won. That's awful, but that's me, okay? You might have a different opinion, but this is a baseball show. But listen, all right, I had to get that out there. But listen. Oh my gosh, MLB.com. I read.
Sports Center on Twitter.
Sports
Center.
Twitter was just
ridiculous,
I felt
man.
bad for the Indians at this point. Like the bias of the broadcast, I thought was evident. And that's why I always root for the team, unless it's the Mets, which it's never the Mets that are like that are not the mainstream team. Like I had a feeling, and I don't know if you guys got this vibe. I got a feeling that more people in the broadcasting biz wanted the Royals to win than the Mets win, but that was just me. Maybe that's just me.
Oh, no,
being a
because
fan.
for the narrative, and for what they could produce afterwards, and for what they could be talking about baseball relevancy for the next month, absolutely they wanted the Royals.
And nobody likes New York.
Yeah,
no,
and
it's
that-
just straight
So
up fact.
there's
Like-
that.
That's just the rule. So listen, it happens. Like this win, whatever. This type of stuff. Whatever. It's that's in the past. We obviously didn't get as far. We talked about it on the show over and over again. Madison Bumgarner broke Michael Conforto. We're going to talk about Michael Conforto and the outfielders because there's a lot of news. We'll talk about that because we only got 40 seconds left, so I don't want to start it, but we'll talk about it coming back because basically our general baseball segment was basically Mets related because that's the big news right now. The Neil Walker stuff. There's some other trades.
Oh,
but
no,
screw it.
there's more going on even so. I mean, if we're looking around the leagues, there's a lot of players that the Mets have interest in, but has ramifications for the rest of the league.
Yeah,
So
the
we'll get
thing
down
is,
to the business of
we're
that.
gonna get down to all this stuff, but I want to talk about the trade thing because there's been some rumors already, big rumors, and we're gonna talk about it right after the break. Last thing, Neil Walker watch anything?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I'm refreshing
All right.
Twitter
All right,
every
we're
second.
we're going to the break. Hopefully the commercials play this time. I filed a complaint. Let's do it, baby.
So bad that you could easily plan your own surprise party? Just join the free memory screening program at the Plainview Old Bethpage Public Library on Wednesday, December 7th at 11 a.m. Learn more about early detection, intervention, and your own memory level. It's confidential. For more info, call 516-938-0077 or visit poblib.org. The Community Calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
A public service announcement from your friends at WCWP.
Don't text and drive, don't smoke, don't abuse alcohol and drugs, don't eat junk food, don't be cruel to a heart that's true.
But do listen to great rock for adults.
And I'm feeling glad all over, yes, I'm glad all over, baby. And it's all over now, baby blue. Shaking all over. 'Cause I used to love them, but it's all over now.
Weekdays from noon till 7, right here on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. It's good for you. A public service.
Spice up your holidays. No, not that way. Join Chef Evelyn Banker and discover how to incorporate various spices into your holiday menu. Be there on Saturday, November 19th at 1 p.m. in the Hempstead Public Library. For more info, call 516-481-6990 extension 12 or visit hempsteadlibrary.info. The Community Calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. Library.
You're
For more
listening
info,
to
call
Ace at the Plate.
So we are back, and we were talking about this while the commercial was going, and there's been talks already, and it's been big talks. Jay Bruce to the Braves, to the Jays, to the Jays. Now, what do you guys think? That's sort of, Sandy and the Blue Jays GM are talking about Jay Bruce. Who could they possibly be
Who could
talking
they
about?
give,
Do you
right?
think this is... Do you think that this is like prospect talk, or is this like a player? Are we talking about like a player? I mean, is there anyone that really sparks your interest on the Blue Jays? I can't think of anyone that comes to my
We
head.
mentioned Ozuna, but you're not going to trade Jay Bruce straight up for Ozuna. At least
Yeah,
Toronto
I
would
would
not
never
do that.
do
Listen,
They would at least want someone else, whether it's Conforto or, well, you're not going to trade Bruce and Conforto, but they would need a package for him. I don't know who they would trade, honestly.
Yeah.
Well,
I
they have
don't
Jason
know.
Grilly that they picked up from the Pirates. No,
was
they picked him up from
surprised
the
when I heard
Braves
that.
before he was the closer for the Pirates, and he started to pitch really well down the stretch for the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm
So,
talking about like a low threes
maybe
ERA.
maybe some bullpen help.
Oh yeah, especially going from the American
yeah.
League and the AL
Yeah.
East coming to the NL East, especially with these types of parks we have.
This
I
might
think it'd be
be-
such a boon to him.
This might be the most biased, unreasonable trade I've ever put together. But
hit
I would
us with
like, you know, their catcher. What's his name?
Russell
Russ
Martin.
Martin,
Yeah, I want him. All right. I don't know what it would take, but
Well, we get Josh Tolley back.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
How about we get Russell Martin?
Well, they have Diner Navarro actually when he used to be on the Tampa Bay Rays.
Isn't he
he's
like,
a power.
Isn't he one of the top 5 catchers, Russell Martin, right now? I know. Like,
Oh yeah, now he's up there.
I mean, it's not going to happen because Sandy already said that. First of all, he's hiring a catching coach for these two, for Rivera and Travis, and he's hired a personal catching coach. That's sort of like what Bob Guerin did because he was a catcher, and now that guy, they got this guy Dick Scott, whoever the hell he is.
That's an all-American baseball team.
They got this
Dick
guy.
Scott.
I don't know who he is. I don't know his record. I just know he's on the Mets now. But they don't have that sort of guidance for Darno. And apparently Sandy's sticking with Darno, which I'm personally sort of fine with, believe it or not.
Well, it's framing abilities. I mean, the bat is what we always thought would be coming alive,
If
but
that
it's just that
comes
his framing
back-
abilities are very good.
if that
He just
comes
has a
back-
noodle arm. I just
can't-
don't know where he can throw.
He can't block. He can't throw. But other than that, he's great.
If he can hit, listen, if he can hit, it'll be great. But listen, for the Jays, no one really comes to mind, right? I mean, this is just like the thing
Well,
they've been talking. So
I mean, they have like a couple of young outfielders that are under control between Michael Saunders and Kevin Pillar. Kevin Pillar is one of the most phenomenal defensive outfielders I've ever seen.
Yeah, but
I don't know that they would do that,
Yeah.
to be honest. I mean, unless they really are finding that they are lacking the power role. But they just recently signed Kendry Morales. If you remember, he used to be on the Angels until he jumped on the plate celebrating and fractured his leg, was out for a year
Listen,
and a half.
man,
But the guy, remember him on the Royals? This is a guy that actually can produce at the plate. And so I don't know if they're really that highlighting for Jay Bruce or if it's just more that they want to fill up for that Joey Bats gone
that's
and
the
Edwin
thing, because they're
Encarnacion.
talking about 2 major players that are leaving, and well, maybe they get one of them back, maybe they don't, but one of them's definitely gone. And Jay Bruce, let me just tell you, could hit 30 home runs a year.
Or be your Jay Bust.
You know, just talking about the Blue Jays, I think a guy worth mentioning is Joe. I can't pronounce his last name.
Bielman?
Bignani. This
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
He was
don't know,
lights
man.
out. He's a great lights out in the postseason. Through 67 innings, had a 3
Okay.
ERA.
What are we talking about? This is a reliever?
This is a reliever, so that
Okay.
could be a guy to keep
This
your
could
eye on.
be a guy because the
Could
Mets
be Jay
bullpen,
Bruce.
especially with Familia now, unfortunately with the domestic violence, and since it's the Mets, they're going to add at least 10 games.
Plus
it's-
Jason Grilly, like
Yeah,
like you
Jason
mentioned
Grilly, but they
before.
also got a guy who's a local homegrown talent from my town, 2 towns away from here, Danny Barnes, who they brought up. He was their closer, pitching to .69 ERA in AAA.
Listen,
I'm just saying, you know what? If you want to bring back a hometown hero.
Honestly, we get Cespedes
from
back.
Manhasset.
If we get Cespedes
Princeton,
back,
smart guy.
Yeah, smart guy, of course.
listen, if
we need that type around us.
if
I
we
mean,
get-
as you can see with our 2 domestic violence abusers.
Yeah, we
need
don't
some
have the most
intelligence.
smart team.
Yeah.
on
Well,
it.
here's the thing. If we get Cespedes back, it would definitely flip Bruce because we got to talk about also the bullpen is sort of not there, man. I mean, Familia can't handle it. Okay, I don't think he can handle it. He blew it in all
I'm
those
not a
World
fan.
Series
Yeah,
games, and now not only did he blow it in the Giants game, but and it wasn't entirely his fault in the Giants game because, like, honestly, the bats were really to blame.
Addison Reed could have easily
But I'll
been the
tell
GOAT.
you this, someone has. I don't think he's got it. All right, I'm not a fan. And with the domestic violence thing, I think
And 3 blown
done.
saves in the World Series. This guy, every time he came up on the mound, my blood pressure went through the roof.
I didn't even.
It was a
mind him.
tight-walking rope
I
every time.
just-
He's like, let's get a guy on
You know
second.
what?
I thought I saw a guy on second.
Even when he gets a save in the regular season, do you remember a 1-2-3 inning he's ever had?
No,
That's a
he
very
always-
good point.
he
I don't
always-
remember
he
one
always
solid
lets-
1, 2, 3.
Listen, Familia was an all-star in his own right. He got those saves. He deserves that. You can't take that away from him. But I will tell you this: they were the most shaky 51 saves I've ever watched.
Exactly,
in my
that's what I'm
life.
saying.
There was not. I can't even remember a save where it was clean, where it was 1, 2, 3 out. I'm not saying that's a hard thing to do. I'm just saying none of them were
Well,
clean.
do you know what's more telltale is that it got 51 saves, but that's more of a reflection upon the bats and the lineup. Because if they could not outscore, outpace the other team, then constantly games were so
Well, he
close that
wouldn't
he would
be in.
constantly be up for these opportunities. Yeah.
Exactly. So, not only does that tell for the team, and that's a good point because I didn't think about that, but again, up the middle saved him. Up the middle, I can't tell you how many times when Cabrera showed up or Walker showed up, or in April Wright somehow showed up on a freaking.
Or how about that bases loaded jam in Chicago? Remember that?
Yeah,
where
with
Jose
0
Reyes
outs or
bailed him
whatever,
out.
Listen.
Jose Reyes bailed him out.
Our infield, I remember in 2015, there was errors. You had Wilmer Flores and Daniel Murphy, and especially in the beginning, it was horrendous. I think there was a time where, it was just error. Now, it's really clean because you got Cabrera, who, I love it, the scout said he's done.
Can't play short.
Done
Yeah,
at
his
short.
range is like that of a
Done
zombie.
at
Like,
What the
short.
hell was
And
he
that-
talking about?
That guy, talk about comebacks.
He was so good at
Wow.
short.
I was shocked.
He was fun to watch.
oh
at
yeah,
short.
he was a lot of
I
fun.
didn't- I
Just being
wasn't
that
even
flare in the middle of the field.
He was flashy too.
I thought that money could have went to Cespedes. That's why I just thought. At the beginning because I just thought he was Wilmer Flores 2.0. But that guy proved me wrong.
Yeah, when they signed
love being
Cabrera,
proven
I kind of
wrong.
tilted my head. I was like,
You look at the numbers.
Like they just signed Walker because they signed him and Walker on the same day. I don't know if
Yeah.
you remember
Oh,
that,
yeah.
but I was like, they just signed Walker. I'm like, why did they just sign Cabrera? I'm like, isn't Flores going to play short? Is he going to start crying again?
Yeah.
But what a signing Cabrera was.
And
What a
listen,
signing.
Listen, with Cabrera, it was just great, and we're gonna see. Obviously today, we got nothing on Twitter yet. Dude, is this guy gonna sign at?
I told
freaking
you. I told you, 459.
459. He's
He signed
459. He has until 5
No,
o'clock.
they're probably just talking multi-year contract right now. That's what he's trying to get out of it, and I guarantee Sandy's just playing hardball right now.
right
saying,
now
like,
they're
"Eh."
talking, and what? The guy has a back injury. Whatever. We'll see if they overpay, but we'll see. Because I don't know if he's that valuable for what he wants. 3 years.
Well,
How
no,
much are
3
we
years.
talking?
He had one of his best years ever was with the Mets actually this year.
So,
he did have
listen.
his stretches where it was atrocious, where it's like I don't even know what the heck this guy's doing.
Yeah,
in the lineup.
remember? I don't know. I don't
Neil
think
Walker?
it was
Yeah.
so long ago. It was so long ago. You weren't
I
even my
think Neil
co-host.
Walker. I think Neil Walker subscribes to this show because
I ripped him.
Walker
I
was
ripped him.
Walker was struggling.
I ripped him.
Ace ripped him,
ripped
and then he
him.
started crushing the ball.
Yeah, I
So
literally. That's what I do when I've had enough. And
He
this is like
might have listened.
This is an in-season thing, and you're gonna see it again when the season starts up. If someone's struggling, and you've already witnessed it, but if someone is struggling, I rip them. And I read 2 poems on air about Curtis Granderson, Jay Bruce. Granderson turned it on. Bruce didn't. So I'm like 2 for 3. I'll take that. But listen, the Mets next year could be good. They could be bad. They could be. It just all depends on what's going to happen because at the winter meetings, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a splat. Like if the Mets get Cespedes at winter meetings, get your postseason tickets while they're cheap because it's going.
Easy.
And no way that
We can't be doing this as Mets fans.
First of all, no way all those pitchers go down again. I'm sorry. Maybe that's bad of me to say that, but I don't think they're all going down again.
If they're all healthy, then yeah.
But I'll tell
Then
you
you
this.
look at the
playoff
best
tickets.
team.
No,
like,
but wait a minute. I'm going to call it right now, and you already know I'm calling it. Last year I had this prediction that was wrong, that Noah Syndergaard was going to get Tommy John surgery on August 23rd. Here's my prediction. Bone spurs are going to act up again, and it's going to screw him up because he's not getting surgery for his bone spurs for some reason. And that is so Mets. It is so ridiculous because it was already bothering him, and I guess he pitched around it, but why not? Why not have your arm at 100%? Listen, maybe he's afraid of the surgery. Maybe he's afraid of under the knife. But listen. God forbid he stays healthy because he's our guy. He's the guy.
He's the ace.
He's the future.
Not
the
only
ace.
is he the ace, but
Harvey was the ace.
We're
He's
not-
the
yeah,
ace.
they turned the Joker.
we're not going to be able to keep all these guys, and he's the number one guy you have to keep.
Yep.
You have to keep this guy. Harvey is a goner. We don't know what Wheeler is. He's sort of like demoted. He's not in that elite until he proves it, because where is this kid? Is he pitching ever again? Seriously. Sandy Alderson, Carlos Beltran for Zach Wheeler. What we at him for one season?
I don't know. We need to put him on the back of a milk carton to find him. I have no idea where he's disappeared.
He is
Who else? We got,
missing.
and then like Matt's, listen, he's great, right? That guy, I'm telling you right now, we already know it, is injury prone for his whole career. That guy just seems like an injury prone guy. And I'm fine with keeping him. I'm just saying that's a guy who's going to get hurt every year.
Well, no, players get hurt. He's one of those players that wants to be 100% every time, even if he has a little tinge in his
Right,
back and his like quad or even his oblique. And he'll always take himself out. While there's other people like Syndergaard be like, yeah, I got these bone spur things, but whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's like that. Harvey is the biggest goner I've ever seen. I feel like listen, now it's so funny to see now on social media. I mean, he's so humble now. And you want to know why? Because he got ripped, okay? He got ripped by me. If I had a show during the time with this whole innings limit thing, he would have been out. He would have left town. He would have skipped town because it would have gone viral. I was saying
That was ridiculous.
how disgraceful
Yeah.
and how much of a shill sellout he was. He's like a lobbyist down in Washington. What a sellout, you know? But and listen, that's the past. It's not relevant. But what I'm saying is now he has yet to pitch a good season that wasn't 2013. Okay, so. And that's true. Okay, he had an okay 2015 already, as good as you could get with
From
Tommy John.
yeah.
I'll give him that.
Yeah.
2016 ain't cutting it, bro. And you know what? I'll tell you this right now. I'll tell you this. There was a time I said take him out of the rotation. He was so bad. Take him out. I swear, 2016. I think he had some of his worst starts ever.
Oh, yeah.
In
By
2016,
far.
and
Yeah,
they
he was
were
awful.
grotesque.
I was
watch.
at the July
I remember-
4th game where he threw it away, and I think that was his last.
I turn
Yeah,
on the
that thing when
TV.
it started, he was
I
just
turn
like,
on-
I got something wrong.
I turn on the
Done.
TV. I open up the stream, whatever, and I swear they go, oh no, we're gonna let him go. We're gonna let him go. It was against like one of the Nationals games. I think he got killed. I'm not sure, but it's just like you want this guy to go out against the Nationals. I mean, how abysmal did we play against the Nationals this year? If the Mets want to
bad.
be in contention next year, they got the Braves to worry about, who I'm scared of now. They got
No,
are
because
you?
they got two of our four horsemen, man. I mean, like, when you got Dickey
It's not
and
only
Bart
that,
back,
they got that new kid, the shortstop.
Dansby, Swansby, Danson. It was like
And,
Dansby Swanson.
Dansby
Man, didn't they
Swanson.
get
It
someone
both
from the
makes
sense. Yeah,
Dodgers? Didn't they get Kiki Hernandez? Are these guys? Didn't they get Kiki
The
Hernandez?
Braves?
Or did the Phillies get him?
One
of those teams
I didn't
got
even know he
Kiki
was.
Fernandez.
I didn't even know he signed with anyone.
Yeah, to be honest. I mean,
Well, he's, no.
Are you talking about Howie Kendrick going
That's
to
it.
the?
Howie
Howie
I
Kendrick.
feel like
Howie
the same
Kendrick.
guy to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
no,
they're
it's-
not, but
I can see it. I
They're
can
both
see it.
LA
They got the
guys.
K's in
No,
there.
well, yeah, but like they're both LA guys. And they both have the K's in there, and I don't
And they're
know
second
why.
baseman too,
Yeah,
so it
they're
makes
both
sense.
second baseman, so I mixed them up. But yeah, Howie Kendrick's going to one of those teams. So.
I'm not really bothered by that.
No,
Yeah.
no, but here's the thing. Wasn't he good? I mean, he seemed good.
No, he used to be
It's
good. He was
alright.
like one of those players that was like durable. That he was just serviceable. Like it was just like, all right, he can maybe move the lineup.
Can you
Like
guys
he
look
could not
up
do
where
it.
he signed, by
I'm
the way,
looking-
No,
real
it's
quick?
no, it was in the
No,
Phillies. He
he's
got
with
traded
Philly.
to the Phillies because they're thinking about
Nope.
trading Cesar Hernandez.
So, by the way,
Or
so
Cesar,
let,
whichever
I
way to go.
really want to take this time. I mean, what do you think about? All right, so the Nationals are obviously going to be good. The Mets might be good depending on this offseason. I mean, it really depends on
Yeah, it really does.
You know, if we have Alejandro Diaz in center field, we're not good. Okay, but if we have Cespedes in center field, we're good.
With the pitching they have right now, assuming they stay healthy, and Lugo and Gazelman to go on
Yeah.
top if anything happens, you know, you got to feel pretty confident.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of retaining Cespedes.
Now the Braves.
we need a piece in the bullpen.
Yeah.
If we don't, then that's honestly what are we doing? Because the whole entire new game's showing you that.
The only guy I trust right now out of the bullpen is Addison Reed.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
Jerry
that's it.
Blevins, but he's probably
Yeah, no, he's
he's
gone.
gone,
Yeah,
he's gone.
He's
He's
gone.
gone.
He's
But
gone,
you're
but
right about
anyway.
Reed. Reed had like one of the top 10 setup men seasons
He was
of all
awesome.
time. Actually,
Yeah.
Awesome.
What
like he's
about-
like he had the 5th highest holds ever.
So what do you guys think about the Braves? Since we went over, they're gonna get scary in a few years. Is next year gonna
already
be a big
looking kinda
year?
scary.
Are
They got
they?
Bartolo.
They look,
yeah, when you get Bart up there, when you get Big
they're
Sexy.
looking scary now with R.A. Dickey, Cologne. They got some bats going. What do you think, man? Are they gonna be a thorn in the Mets side? I mean,
I think.
probably.
I mean, look at the
Freddie
offense right
Freeman
now.
starting to come back.
Freddie Freeman. They got the new ballpark. You know, they've got that going for them. They've got
That's a
Dansby
good
Swanson. They've got Ender Inciarte. This guy's
Yeah,
one of the
Inciarte
most
actually is-
under. He cost us a game. I don't know if you remember that. He robbed Cespedes.
Yep. It was ninth
Um,
inning. Actually, I think I was at that game. Yeah, I was at that game. It was ninth
So,
inning, 2 men
yeah.
on, and you just had that jack.
Markakis, right? They got him. So they got some key guys. If they get some pitching, and I'm not talking about Dickey or Bartolo. If
Yeah.
they get some legitimate starting pitching,
I mean, they got
watch
Tehran
out
also.
for them.
Tehran destroyed the
Tehran,
Mets.
yeah, I forgot about
That's
him.
it. Tehran just weighed the scale. They will be in second or third place, depending on what the Mets do this offseason.
they're
Dead
scary.
serious, they could be second.
Yep.
Dead serious, if somehow like Bryce Harper breaks his neck, could be bad. I know maybe I'm overvaluing it, but like 2 years, they'll win the pennant.
The Atlanta Braves?
If they make it right, the Atlanta
That's an
Braves.
aggressive view, but I mean, I guess I can understand it because with this new ballpark opening up, I mean, you're
Let's
going to be
not forget about Matt Kemp either.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Oh my
Kemp.
gosh, that's
and
it.
And
That's
Kemp's
it.
trying to
Stop
lose
talking.
weight, so he gets.
Stop talking. You're getting me afraid.
Then they
here.
might get Brian McCann
and
for
the Phillies
catching.
don't. They don't. I thought they look okay, but I
The
don't
Phillies,
they need a
no,
catcher.
Don't they have better bats than
Phillies?
the Braves? I just thought they had better
No,
bats.
I don't-
coming
No,
up.
no.
I'm
I mean,
not
they got
afraid of the
Mikhail Franco at third base.
And you can pitch around him because there's nobody else.
Yeah,
in the
that's
lineup.
All right,
exactly
so you
it.
know what? Screw you, Philly. I
Yeah,
overvalued you.
screw Philly.
Yeah.
And I guess so. And we got our crosstown. We got our crosstowns. They looking hot. It's not actually a bad time to be a Yankee fan. I know that they haven't been in the postseason, but
No, they're not going back next year. This
but
year
if
is to
you
showcase
look
their
at
talent.
the future now, like this year, if you're a Yankee fan, you're watching and you're going, "Oh boy, these guys are gonna be dangerous next year."
Oh
Like,
yeah, 2018.
If the Yankees had a legitimate because their
they're
starting
gonna get Bryce
rotation.
Harper next year. Let's
they're-
be real.
No, because their starting
yeah,
rotation.
yeah, you can't just go based upon bats. He's right.
If
The
they
pitching.
had a decent rotation, I would like them for next year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, who do you have in there? Luis
Gary
Sessa?
Sanchez, and look at the offense. Gary Sanchez, Greg Bird's coming back. Don't forget about him. Starlin Castro. I mean,
And you got Tyler. What was the kid's name? Tyler Austin.
they've
who was
got a
doing
million
fantastic.
prospects too.
And then
Well, that's
the only
the thing.
the only bad spot is like Chase Headley at third base, and
Yeah.
even then, that's serviceable. You know.
And plus, there's again not this year, but next year, so much money's coming off the books for them.
Oh, yeah,
with
they're gonna be
A-Rod and
spenders.
McCann. I mean, the Yankees. I'm telling you, as soon as 2018 will be maybe a playoff team.
No,
probably.
I completely agree. 2018 is the year that you're going to see the Yanks making
So
a
I
lot of
know
noise
that
in the
I know that
postseason.
we neglect the Yankees on this show because we are a Mets show, but even right now with the news, the Mets are now the team in the playoffs. But I'm telling you in the future, man, 2018, my senior year, they are going to be big league. They're going to be big because they look scared. Gary
Talking
Sanchez.
huge.
Gary Sanchez, though, he could be Rookie of the Year next year.
El Gary?
Yeah,
No, he was actually in the top 3 finalists for Rookie of the Year this
here's
year.
my prediction. He'll be, if he has a good year, Rookie of the Year next year because he already turned heads.
Well, no, he would have been this year if it wasn't for our boy Mike Fulmer, former
Michael
Met.
Fulmer.
God,
But,
that guy
listen,
is 3.09 ERA.
I still have no regrets.
We gotta go to
Yeah,
commercial
that's
break.
what it is.
We gotta go to commercial break. So we will talk to you after the break. We're gonna talk about Bartolo Colon because we really sort of brushed past it, but I think it was right to move on, and we'll get back to it after the break. So stay tuned.
Keep calm. You may already have high blood pressure. Relax and find out with the free blood pressure screening available the second Wednesday of every month at 12 noon in the Westbury Memorial Public Library. For more info, call 516-333-0176 or visit westburylibrary.org. The Community Calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
Do you find that talking to yourself is more interesting than what you're hearing on the air? Is talk radio becoming motivation for a nap? Do you love to listen but can't stand the words? Well, we can change all that. To hear compelling interviews, relevant topics, and interesting personalities, just tune in to our community of conversation. WCWP talks to your community weekday mornings from 10 till noon on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
Humans make illogical decisions.
Trekkies, make a logical decision and celebrate the 50th anniversary of Star Trek with screenings from the original TV series. Explore strange new worlds on Saturday, November 26th from noon until 5 at the Port Washington Public Library. For more info, call 516-883-4400 or visit pwpl.org. The Community Calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
All right, technical difficulties with that one, but just some commercials are just not. They're just not doing
We
it.
roll with the punches,
We roll
no
with
worries.
the punches, but most of them are fixed. As you guys noticed, most of the commercials are fixed. Just some of them are still iffy. But hey,
To our sponsors,
they're
we're working
on
for you.
it.
We're working
They're
for you.
working on it, right? They're working on it.
And
But listen,
just a side note, 440, still no word on Neil Walker.
that's
Jesus,
gonna,
that's...
now, isn't that crazy? You
Nothing.
have to do.
No, that's the
fine.
Mets drama at work right there.
So listen, we discussed this. I mentioned it. I have an article here I want to quote for this. Bartolo Colon is gone. All right, he is completely gone. A person familiar with the situation says the Atlanta Braves have added another 40-year-old to their starting rotation, agreeing to terms with Bartolo Colon, and they say it's $12.5 million, 1-year deal for Colon, and it's unofficial. Team's going to announce at some point, but it's unofficial still. But we all know it's official. So pending medical physical, which obviously for a Met fan means everything, but for anybody else, no, it doesn't mean anything. But seriously, Bartolo Colon, I think it was time to move on. I'll tell you why. Seth Lugo, Robert Gazelman stepped the frick up, and it's almost as like I know all those pitchers went down, and all three of them fit in the rotation. I just don't think that will happen again. Maybe it will, but I don't think it will. And we have guys like those two just to add on to the plethora of names we got, like DeGrom and Matz and Harvey and all those guys. You know them already. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think it was smart for this? What's up?
Well, how much did he sign for again?
$12.5 million.
And you know the Mets were not matching that.
No.
Yeah.
Especially trying to retain Cespedes and possibly Walker.
Yeah, so this is it. We are now. Listen, Colon, I'm going to miss his at bats. I'm going to miss his pitching. He was my favorite pitcher throughout these 2 years. Believe it or not, even with all the young guys, now it's Syndergaard. And you want to know why he was? Because he's a big fat guy who went across all the odds. He's 43 years old and he throws one pitch.
Oh yeah,
that's why he's my favorite.
He's the ultimate guy. He's like a dad that came off the couch after having a beer and his chips. He's like, all right, I got to throw it today, boys. Let's do this.
He goes out in the outfield. He does a couple arm waves. He's good to go. He's fine.
He was such a good influence on a lot of the Spanish-speaking players, especially the pitchers. Like Hansel Robles would quote him all the time. Woman beater familia too soon.
Woman
and he did a domestic violence campaign. We talked about it, but how ironic
right
is
before,
that? But
too.
anyway, listen,
ironic.
2 days before.
Those two guys would always go up to him, and Bartolo was like, we always talk about this. I talk about this with Reyes. Reyes is like a bridge with English-speaking guys and Spanish-speaking guys. You need that sort of bridge, you know?
Yeah.
And Reyes, obviously, is pretty good speaking English, and he can speak Spanish, so it's like a mix. Same thing with, like, Cabrera. It's like a mix.
He's a good clubhouse guy.
Bartolo, obviously, great clubhouse guy. Great clubhouse guy, was freaking hilarious.
And a magician with the fastball. The guy threw a fastball 90% of the time, and we've all seen what the other Mets young guns can do.
He'll get an
Throwing
ovation.
flamethrower.
But
this guy, when he throws a pitch, he shows you the single depths of touching the pressure points upon a ball that you can put enough movement upon an 88-mile-per-hour fastball. Drop it down a couple of ticks just to keep them guessing and looking. And the guy's just throwing darts up there like he's at a bar drinking. It's amazing. Phenomenal stuff to see.
Sandy hasn't had many gems, I'm going to be honest, with Chris Young, Jason Bay. That was him, right?
That was Omar.
That was okay, never mind. I'm getting everyone mixed up. All the failures. There's too many failures.
We'll just blame it on all
it's all Sandy.
Why not?
Well, I'll tell you this. This is a Sandy. I mean, with outfielders in particular, it's been bad for the Mets in general, and but Bartolo's one of his good highlights. I mean, yes, there was Diaza. Yes, there was Mayberry. Yes, there's Campbell constantly being in the majors.
Somehow.
Yes, there's all this stuff. But what's going on? I just Bartolo, what a great signing. It turned out to be 2 years. You know,
and he had his best offensive season ever. He only hit .083, but he got that one home run off the top of Petco.
I gotta give Bartolo credit because again, he was the laughing stock. 2014, I remember watching. It was just a funny thing to watch.
Oh, seeing Jabba the Hutt up there was great.
He didn't like it though, and he worked on it, and you could tell he worked on it. And I'm proud of him. Proud of him for working on it because now he's going to be hitting bombs against the Mets. You know, because you know that everyone who leaves the Mets becomes amazing.
They turned to Babe Ruth right there. Yeah, Daniel Murphy.
Daniel Murphy, but Justin Turner. These are guys.
Scott Kazmir. The list goes on and on.
It goes on and on of guys that will just go on to be greater. In fact, we talk about d'Arnaud being possibly a bust. The best move for him ever would be to get off New York. Get out of New York. That's like how I say. I say change of scenery goes a long way. If you're struggling, and I get it, like sometimes you'll get out of the struggle, but sometimes guys are just not cut out for this big city. Especially Bruce in that situation, and we went over it. But and speaking about all this stuff, like maybe being a good fit, not a good fit, there's a lot of free agents out here. You guys got some names that you really are feeling? I'm feeling like Greg Holland. I know we mentioned it last show, but he's a reliever. He had Tommy John, but I feel like he's a good bullpen option on the cheap. He's not the savior, but with a destroyed bullpen
do you think
that
cheap?
we have.
The thing is, there's more noise. Sorry to interrupt, but there's more noise. Everyone's starting to think about it because it's like Greg Holland from 2013 to 2015. He had an ERA of like low twos. I'm talking about like bottom basement low twos.
So now he has a mark.
Now it's thinking that it's like 2 years, $20 million going for this guy who just came from Tommy John and wasn't showing much this last season. He had a 1.43 whip going in there. But I mean, it's a name that's interesting. It's just when you have all these different names or teams going up, it's like you got the Cubs, Astros, Yankees, Red Sox taking a look at him, and the Mets. And when you have these big market teams starting to take a look at this guy, even though his fastball is down about 5 miles per hour right now to where it was beforehand, I just don't know. But there's a lot of other interesting names in the market. I mean, we've got the big three out there right now.
Kenley Jansen, Mark Melancon, and Chapman. I think Chapman might re-sign with the Yankees. Who knows?
Yeah, actually, I could definitely see that. The Mets
right?
just can't do that because they can't have 3 wife beaters on the team.
Yeah,
that is just awful PR.
It's getting extreme.
Like Jay Horowitz will have a heart attack over that. Man.
To give Reyes credit, though, and I know it's terrible, but he has been going to counseling, and he's still with his wife. They still post Instagram pictures. I know it's terrible what he did, but he seems like he's doing the most out of, let's say, someone from the NFL is doing right now.
Yeah, of course. He served the most time, too, of anyone that had domestic
abuse. Just to give him the most credit, he's still going.
Right.
So to this therapy thing with his wife. So I'm not trying to excuse him, but at least he's doing the things he's got to do to sort of save his personal reputation.
Sergio Romo's a free agent.
It's an interesting name, but he fell off towards the end. I mean, I'm always interested in Sergio Romo.
Brad Ziegler.
Ziegler's available? Oh, wow. Ziegler was great. I mean, he's like a sidewinder type of pitcher. He used to be with the Arizona Diamondbacks that got traded over to the Athletics, and then he came over to the Boston Red Sox to finish up. Very, very interesting name because he provides a different angle, different type of look with that windup that he's got going. But another name that I really like is Brett Cecil. He's a son of like a former major leaguer. He came up with the Blue Jays.
Breaking.
We
got
a news alert.
Seconds ago. So glad to say that I will be with New York Mets for another year.
Hey, there you go.
Hashtag unfinished business.
There you go.
That means the qualifying offer was signed.
I haven't seen anything yet, but you see it on Twitter?
Never mind. I got duped.
Oh, come on.
No, wait. Can I just say something though? In my defense,
was it your Nationals guy?
Me and Joe got duped. We were together and we got duped. Look at this account. We got duped.
How is this not a real what?
But here's the thing. And a professional beat reporter retweeted it, thinking it was real.
Wait, really?
That's great.
Oh, wow. That's a great troll game.
Who retweeted it? Was it Carrig? Was it Puma?
It was like Ruben or something like that?
He's not one of the big ones, but his name is Matt Ehalt. He writes for...
you know what? I gotta retweet it now. Yeah. Just to prank some of my friends.
No, just like everyone keeps going into it now. The whole entire
he writes for the
baseball
record.
world's just getting into it.
He writes for the record.
Yeah,
he
I've
said,
seen him.
Sorry, fake tweet. And it's funny because you would have to almost believe it because it's like.
And now he just unretweeted it.
Yeah, and he said sorry for the retweet. Sorry, I interrupted your great point. I thought it was legit.
You know what?
That's big news.
Seriously though, everybody wants to be first. So
everyone.
As soon as they see that.
What were you even saying, bro? I don't even.
No. I was looking at my sites and I was like thinking about it. I'm like, wow, Ace has got the inside scoop right here,
dude.
I was like, wow, good for you.
Yeah,
man. You just broke that.
I'm like, you know what? This is why you're at the top, baby.
Good job.
By the way, the Phillies have just shown interest in Cespedes, by the way. I don't know how that's going to go.
No. Everyone's just they're testing the waters. But anyways, back to our reliever market.
Go ahead.
Brett Cecil is one of the more interesting names out there. He fell off a little bit last year. He started out as the closer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Then Roberto Ozuna, I don't know if you've heard of him, but 21-year-old guy who looked like one of the best relievers in all baseball.
I'm sorry, more breaking
news.
All right, I got to do it.
We're back in the breaking news.
No, I got to do it. No, this is real. MLB Network Radio. This is legit. Blue Jays are in on Josh Reddick, which is a free agent, and have just wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Josh Reddick's a free agent, right?
Yeah.
Do I do this again? I just gotta shut up.
It's all right. You're excited. You're excited. It's the baseball fan
I
in
thought
you.
he was a Blue Jay and that they were going to trade
They're
him.
in on Reddick and obviously Bruce as well.
Yeah, Reddick is
So
more of
we'll
their
see.
security blanket against if they don't get Bruce.
Wasn't he
Obviously,
on the A's?
What? Reddick? Yeah, he was
Dodgers.
on the A's, and then he was traded to the Dodgers
Yeah.
halfway through the season.
Okay, I'm sorry. For
He'd be a
not-
good
I
pickup
won't
for
He
them.
speak
would be a good
again.
pickup. He's got speed, power,
I
hits
like,
for
you know,
decent
we're
average, but he's
talking
just
about
broken
guys we
down.
want. No, I mean that guy seems like a good, maybe. A
Should
guy
I even
like
mention like the guy that I'm talking about, or is the
Yeah,
third
mention
time we're gonna get
Mention it, mention it, mention it,
breaking
please.
news one more time? But anyways, this guy here, he started out as a closer, got booted out of that spot, but when in a lower leverage type of situation, he's been producing well. We use a stat. There's a stat on Fangraphs called XFIP, where it's fielding independent percentages, where it looks at everything taken standard across the whole entire board of defenses of league average. The only things being accounted for are home runs, hits, and home runs, strikeouts, and walks. And so Brett Cecil, since 2014, 2016, and all of Major League Baseball, is number 5 on the list in XFIP. That is ahead of names like Kenley Jansen, Zach Britton, Dellin Betances, Aroldis Chapman, and Andrew Miller. And this guy could be had for cents on the dollar right now. And you know what? When we're looking at Familia right now, I'm projecting that minimum, as you said, because it's the Mets. I was going to go 20 games, but I think minimum 30 game suspension.
Yeah, I think it's going to be around 30 to 40 games.
So you agree that we need another top tier kind of reliever to be able to supplement that? Because I
here's
know
the
we have
thing.
Addison Reed, but what if we're back at the end of the season?
I'm the most biased baseball guy you'll know, in a way, not for the Cubs, but just for hitters. I know it takes a lot to be a pitcher, but you could find some guy in the organization or somewhere else on the cheap.
No, this
telling
Brett
you.
Cecil's cheap as hell.
He's
I'm
cheap.
telling you.
If he's cheap, I'm not saying
He has no
overpay.
draft pick
like
compensation.
Darren O'Day, like great guy, whatever. You're gonna overpay for a reliever again? Maybe it's just my hitting bias.
You know, they showed interest in Boone Logan, too. I heard about that the
That's
other
another
day.
great baseball name.
Boone Logan.
Boone.
That's just,
I would love that. Have a Boonie on the team.
that's a great name, but it's another guy who could
Wait,
be
who was he
useful.
with the Rockies?
Joe Riley, I like your tweet to Curtis Granderson. when
Yeah.
They asked Randy, and I was just like, "Hey, Granderson, did you believe
He's got
that
a new
fake tweet?
he's
Did you
got a
believe
new
it?"
walk up every year.
No, but here's the
So-
thing. No. Well, he asked what his walk-up song is going to be because he has the Mets Twitter right now. And we're on Twitter. We're usually like not on Twitter during the show unless it's a big news.
He's got a
event.
new one every year, so I'm kind of picking
Really?
his brain a little
Yeah,
bit.
he does. Yeah, and last year he let the fans pick it. I forget what they ended up picking. It was some funky song.
There it is. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it is. But
Yeah, there you
anyway,
go.
I love how the whole media just now, all these beat reporters retweeted the fake account.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's
really?
crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, you guys-
And then
I
all
didn't
of them-
retweet
all
it.
of
It's
them
because
are
they're
now-
listening to us right now, Ace.
all of
They-
them
Yeah,
are now-
obviously.
It's funny because he has the players could change anyone could change their Twitter account name, so then people just fake it and they go like Neil Walker or whatever, and it's just like so funny. It's funny because Neil Walker literally has 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
He has 7 minutes to make a deal. There's no going over. What happens if you miss that? Is that even possible? Like, what is that?
Does he have to accept it? Like, that's confusing, actually. I really want to know
No,
what
he
happens.
can-
I don't know.
What, does he have to accept the call?
No, he doesn't have to
this is
accept
what
it. I guess he's
happens.
just not
If he-
accepting.
If
I
he doesn't,
would
he
say-
becomes a free agent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
And then whatever.
But it's by 5 o'clock. If he's gonna accept this thing,
So
it's funny how it's.
he just responded.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. What did he say?
He said, "I'm in the process of Run DMC.
Wow,
King of
dude.
Rock is leading the way."
Yo, you know what? You know what? Curtis
We got
Granderson-
celebrity guests on here. I didn't know this,
got
Joe. Let's go,
guests, so
baby.
now we need to bring.
We technically just brought Curtis Granderson on the show.
Curtis,
Granderson on
when
the
you're out there,
show.
baby, thank you, my hero.
I can't believe we just brought Curtis
Ah,
Granderson.
damn! I should
And the salt of the earth too.
I should have asked when he's coming on Ace at the
Yeah,
Plate.
when is he
Damn, I
coming
should have
on,
asked
dude?
that.
But seriously, bro, it's
That's
just,
amazing.
It's just crazy because I'm refreshing Twitter because at any minute we're gonna get news because again it's actually affecting the free agent market too because maybe there is some team that goes okay, maybe the back injury was a fluke. Maybe it was just because he was on the Mets because he had a good year.
And teams might look at him as a first baseman DH type of hybrid
Yeah,
with
again,
maybe a spell at second base.
So there's teams, even dare I say Pittsburgh, they had such a good relationship. They're sort of on the downtrend. Maybe they want to pick up him. I'm sure he'd come back. I'm not saying I don't want him on the Mets. I'm just saying that there's definitely I think there's a market to him. I think if he was healthy, there would be a way bigger market. But there's a market. He's got a niche. And listen, it's 5 p.m. So I mean, like, the show ends at 5. This is like breaking news. This is like, if you're listening live, you're getting the
I'm
scoop.
schwitzing over here waiting.
I'm refreshing. I just think that was the greatest thing because all these guys just like was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was you guys first, and then just domino
and
effect.
then one guy was like fake account, and then we all look,
and then all of a sudden, Curtis Granderson's talking to me.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell's going on?
Everything's upside down. What's going on, man?
It's just Twitter. Listen, man, this has been such a great show. It's not over yet.
Oh, this has been fun as
But
hell.
it's been a great show. I mean, it was 4:54, but it's been a great show.
And you people thought that after the season ended that it would get boring. This is where we start burning
that's
up.
What we said. And wait until the winter meetings. As the winter meetings get closer, more name. We're already getting rumors. Bruce to the Jays. Like, we're getting it. And then at the winter's meeting, just the whole episode, there won't be a script. It's going to be refresh. My tradition for the winter meetings is to have some hot chocolate and keep refreshing the thing while it's freezing cold outside. I listen to like Christmas music in the background because it's like it's freaking Christmas. You got are we
the
getting
Mets are finally
for
spending
Christmas?
again.
Except the Mets are spending a little bit, or at least they're talking like they will. They haven't done the big deal yet. And by the way, man, these pitchers though. I mean, enjoy them while they're here.
Yeah,
that's what we got to.
It's a bit
because we're gonna keep like one or two. It's $1 billion rotation.
I mean, that's what we're saying. Literally, it's $1 billion
It's actually
rotation.
$1 billion.
It's $1 billion.
It's actually going to surpass $1 billion.
Look at the money David Price got. You know, and that's
that's David Price.
He stinks.
Oh yeah,
stinks.
Awful
postseason this year. He stunk.
So you know what?
Give me a break.
Think about it, and that's why it's like, I don't know. I think Noah Syndergaard, if he has like great years, like I know that hopefully the Mets keep him, but if he's signed, it will make major league history. It will be bigger than any deal that I think. Who's the record holder right now? It changes every year.
Well, no, the annual average record holder is Zach Greinke.
Okay, and what is it?
$30 million per year.
Okay, it's gonna be like $31 million a year, or some team's gonna go absolutely insane and give him and I'm talking ridiculous, like $40 million a year, like just absolutely absurd money. Mm-hmm. And by the way, don't you feel like the money is just blowing up? The contracts just go up and up each year.
You know, there's talks Ivan Nova might get $35 million.
What?
Yeah. I'm not joking.
Yeah, isn't it
there is some expert said
expert with the
that Ivan Nova is probably going to get.
I got to interrupt you. This is real.
Yes,
okay.
Joel Sherman.
Joel Sherman. And if that guy isn't a reliable source, I don't know what is. Neil Walker is taking the qualifying offer. He's on the Mets.
Neil Walker, welcome back.
Let's go, baby.
So what is he? Our second baseman
Neil
now?
Walker's back.
What is this guy? All I got to say is with Neil Walker back, that's
now,
great. Now
seriously, you just hope his back holds up.
No, that also.
That brings great power. That brings some
here's the
balance to
thing.
the
Great.
lineup.
That's a great
You
signing.
gotta.
We're going back.
Yeah,
we're going back.
You gotta find a way to get Reyes.
We're drinking the Kool-Aid. We're going back.
We're going to Disneyland.
You gotta find a way to get Reyes in the lineup, man, because I know just the speed.
You know, it's one of the biggest questions I have.
Where do you think he's gonna be?
We got a few more. We got a few
Can he
more
try
minutes.
center field?
Because don't you think he's
Didn't they mention that?
Did they?
Oh my gosh, it's not over yet. It's 3 minutes.
There's
until
so many outfielders though in their equation. You can't think about that.
But if we trade because we need a legit speedy center fielder that can have range. I just don't know how
Fowler.
Dexter Fowler. I really, really am in love with that idea.
I mean,
we can trade away. Don't trade Curtis because Curtis, if you're listening right now, which we know you are, you're our boy. You're the salt of the earth. You're the heart of this team. You are New York.
Could I just say something? The fake Neil Walker account called it. Okay.
Yeah,
that's actually
now you can retweet it.
Actually, now you can retweet it and say that you were the one to break it. So
he broke it. Maybe he was. Maybe that's his anonymous account where it's like, no, my real MLB official account, and then I have this fake one that I just put Neil Walker on it, and I'm just gonna break the news. I love how that guy tricked everyone because that beat reporter must have had Neil Walker on the thing, and he was just refreshing. And oh my gosh, that's his Twitter account. I got the breaking news. I got the story. And now you're an idiot because that's a fake account.
But then at the same time, you were right.
Yeah. Isn't that just funny how things work? It's funny. So yeah, it's $17.2 million. Neil Walker, hope his back holds up. By the way, if if Cabrera has another good year, you could get him on the cheap next year because the team has an option.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just the team. So they
decide.
Even
really?
Yeah. So if he has a good year, we have him on the cheap. So it's pretty good.
And you know, we have all these interchangeable pieces now that go throughout. It's just like it used to be the outfield, and we used to lament this and be like, "Oh my God, how's it going?" But the infield, it's
we only have it's 4:59, so
it's quick.
I'm not turning it off yet. I'm turning it off when it hits 5 o'clock. So I don't know how far we are in the minute, but bro, it's coming to an end. I just want to, before it cuts off, I just want to say thank you for being on the show, man. It really means
My pleasure.
Joe, it's an absolute pleasure having you.
It's such a
man,
pleasure.
This was fun as hell.
I love having the extra insight. It's another mind.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's another mind. You're always welcome back on the show. And tell your
better
friend
be coming
tell
back.
your friend
Thanks,
in there.
man.
I'm sure he's fun. You know, maybe you guys want to come on the show. But
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, we can have a panel of you guys.
It was fun to be here. I'll come back next week if I'm welcome.
Dude, absolutely.
You're literally welcome anytime.
Awesome.
And listen, hopefully you guys go far.
Hopefully we have even more to talk about.
Oh no, you guys are gonna be doing great. I got good feelings for you guys.
Are you gonna bat 300? That's the real question.
We'll see. We'll see. Come on
only
down.
It can only go up from 333, baby. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, and by the way, do you think Daniel Murphy is gonna win the MVP? No.
No.
You think he'll have a great year? Yes.
Next year?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
Of course.
We're gonna wrap it up. The breaking news is over.
Neil Walker, he's coming
is signed
back.
for real. The fake account called it. Tune in next week.
Looking for some informal stress relief and a relaxing way to get to know your neighbors? Try adult coloring. It's like coloring for kids, but harder to stay in the lines. It's on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. in the Port Washington Public Library. For more info, call 516-883-4400 or visit pwpl.org. The community calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
Enjoy yourself. It's later than you think.
Yes, it's Enjoy Life, Mondays at 11, with me, your joyologist, Naomi Joy. Here our guests reveal how they are bringing new pleasures, passions, and fun into their later years. You can, too. Enjoy Life, Mondays at 11.
Only on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. This is WCWP, Brookville, New York. Your home for LIU Post Pioneer Sports. 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.